Now the sun is just starting to climb up over the treetops, and it's gonna be a beautiful day, that's plain to see.
Welcome to Bill Dance Outdoors, America's most popular and longest running TV fishing show.
Now I've gone fishing with Bill Dance today.
Hello, everybody. When it comes to learning the things that matter in this great sport that we call fishing, there's one thing we remember that Daddy always taught us. Ask somebody who knows. Ask a pro. Ask a master. He told us that's what most folks ought to do. And if you want your questions answered about fishing, you need to find a master. Well, Bill Dance is certainly one of the masters. And we never run short of questions being sent to us through the snail mail, through the email, through the social media, or hollered across the pond. And y'all send us some good ones. Our host will answer some of those today in this episode that we've entitled, Things You Might Find Interesting. Tell you what, let's join old Bill out on the water doing what he loves to do. And I just bet you know what that is. Fishing and teaching.
Where are you going with us? Help on that trolling motor. Whoa. Came right off that cattail. Open your mouth. There we go. You liked that thing, didn't you? Okay. That's a pretty healthy looking fish, isn't it? Look at all that pretty gold and everything on that fish. Pretty thing. See ya. Woo! You know, I meet quite a few fishermen every year, and I answer lots of questions, but I also ask lots of questions. Like, for instance, if you could use only one rod length in action for all your bass fishing, what would it be? First, the length. 6 foot, 6'10", or 7 foot? Well, about 15% said 6 foot, 60% said 6'10", and 25% said 7 foot. Now for action, about 35% selected medium, 45% preferred medium heavy, and 20% said heavy. Now I'm also asked this question about soft plastic hooks. If you had to choose one style of hook for all your soft plastics, which one would you go with? Here's how it came out. Offset shank, 18%. Straight shank, 2%. Wide gap, 30%. Extra wide gap, 50%. Here he is, right behind it. There, he's got it. Ooh. Pretty fish. I'm not gonna swing you up. I'll just lift you up. Turn around. That's a pretty fat fish right there. I saw him coming right behind me. Talk about the bomber wake bait. He was waking it too. There it is. Oh, them hooks hook him. That's a chunky little old fish. Yes, you are. See ya. Kaboosh.
Bill Dance Outdoors is sponsored in part by Bass Pro Shops and Cabela's. Your adventure starts here. Rebel, catch fish anywhere. And by Mercury Marine, go boldly.
Today's Conditions Log is brought to you by the Tennessee Department of Tourist Development. Come experience the kind of beauty that can only be made in Tennessee. Go online today for your free Tennessee vacation guide.
I'm gonna power pole up. No, not on this boat, I'm gonna micro pole up. There he is. Little guy. What you say? Huh? Got that hook right there on the side of that bait. No, you want to just jump and throw it. See you around. Yeah, we were talking about all these percentages a few minutes ago. Here's another one I'd like to share with you. What's the most popular, narrow spool or wide spool bait casting reels, and why? Now, the good folks at Quantum tell me that narrow spool sales outnumber wider spool sales by 65% to 35%. The reason for it is most folks want compact size and lowest possible weight. But here's something to think about. Larger spool reels have a bigger spool diameter. Therefore, this gives you better casting performance, higher retrieve speeds, and a larger drag system. So depending on your fishing technique, each has its place. Okay, I know what you're thinking. Something I forgot to mention. What about gear ratios? What's the most popular gear ratio for bait casting reels? Well, here's how percentage-wise Quantum sales tell the story. 5.3 to 1, 10%. 6.6 to 1, 40%. 7.3 to 1, 50%. So think about this. Speed is not always the answer in lure presentation. You can fish crankbaits more effectively with a slower retrieve speed. Likewise, topwater, swim baits, and jerk baits perform best with higher speeds. Therefore, you should consider having more than just one gear ratio reel. As an added tip, the wider spools take in over 30 inches of line per revolution of the handle, where the 100 series, like I'm using today, the narrow spool, takes in about 27 inches per revolution. Now, the wider spool is better rated for, say, heavier monos, fluorocarbons, and braided line, as well as larger baits, like what we're fishing with today. But you can get by fishing these larger baits with a narrow spool. Boom. What are you doing? I don't know how that thing thinks he could swallow that. How do you think you could swallow it, huh? It's long and skinny, I guess. In his mind, he thinks he could. I guess you think you could, huh? You think you could? Wonder what's going through. I just wonder what he's thinking right now. What are you thinking in that little brain of yours, huh? I know what you want to think. You want to go back home. We're using 14-pound line and using a new series of rods right here. These are Acris, Quantum Acris rods, using a 7-foot medium heavy with these little 100 series S3 Acris reels. Extremely lightweight. This rod's got a sensitive tip and a tremendous amount of backbone. It handles this bait extremely well.
Today's show is brought to you in part by Quantum Rods and Reels, Quantum Performance Tune, Mystic Lubricants, Lubrication Domination, and Tracker Boats, Fish the Finest. Today's show is sponsored in part by Berkeley, Catch More Fish, Bill Dance exclusive rods by Quantum, and by Garmin. Bite your fish, not your fish finder.
Today's equipment log is brought to you in part by Gamakatsu, because the fish of a lifetime only comes once in a lifetime.
There he comes. Easy does it. Open your mouth. Here's a question about outboard motors. Hey, I understand using a tiller on a small horsepower outboard, but why do some folks use them on mid-size 40s to 115 horse outboards? Why don't they just get a boat with a steering wheel? Well, that's a pretty good question. Fishermen who use tiller handles usually do it for three reasons. Maneuverability. A tiller arm allows a boat to be quickly turned and precisely handled, which many fishermen prefer. Second, boat design. Not having a traditional helm opens up the design options and fishability of a boat. Third, quick control. As a fisherman knows, especially a trolling fisherman, bait presentation is key. Controlling that speed by using a tiller handle, especially in a back trolling situation, can be key to landing that special fish. Got a bunch of grass on it then. Got a fish. Didn't affect it too much. Whoa, fish. Where are you going? I'm gonna back up here, boy. A good fish. I ain't going back out. Come on back here. All right, Buster. Got you all hooked up. One hook. I got him. A pretty one. Yes, you are. See ya, old boy. Okay, I got one here about outboard props. My friends are telling me I should run aluminum instead of a stainless steel prop because I'll protect my gear case if I should hit something. Now, is that true? Not really. There are three things you really need to know about this myth. Mercury prop engineers have measured the force at impact when an aluminum and a stainless steel prop strike an object. And guess what? It's virtually the same. So, an aluminum prop doesn't transfer any more or less energy than a stainless steel prop. Now, regardless of the prop you run, if the energy is sufficient enough to damage your lower unit, the composite sleeve in the flow torque prop hub is designed to give way long before any of that energy is transferred to the lower unit. Now, this discussion turns into the cost of ownership issue. If you're replacing aluminum props regularly at $100 to $150 a piece, you're better off buying a stainless steel prop at $600 because the items that you hit and cause you to replace your aluminum prop will show up as nicks and dings on stainless steel props, which are easily fixable.
The Bill Dance question and answer of the week is brought to you by Bill Dance Exclusive Rods by Quantum. Whether you're fishing for panfish, bass, catfish, or light saltwater, we have an action for you. Available at Bass Pro Shops and Cabela's.
Is there a set time for pre-spawn bass? Bass activity is determined by weather, which is unpredictable. Weather patterns control water temperatures, which determines bass activity. Sometimes spring is early, sometimes it's late. It can vary by regions of the country and even regions of a reservoir. But don't sweat the variables. See it as a challenge, not a frustration.
Today's show is sponsored in part by Millennium Marine, a new class of comfort. And by Garmin Force Trolling Motors, fish with force. Closed captioning provided by PowerPole, the original shallow water anchor.
Today's product tip is brought to you by Garmin and their GPS map series, chart plotter sonar combos. With advanced sonar technology like Chirp and exclusive Panoptix all-seeing sonar, you'll spend less time finding your fish.
You know, I'm always looking for a better monofilament line. No more, I found one. Trilene's XL. XL's formula has 20% greater knot strength, 50% greater wet strength, and 20% more flexibility than the original formula. What more can you ask for? Berkeley XL.
Come be a part of Bill Dance Digital. Join us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. Follow us.
The slower you reel it, the shallower it'll run and the bigger the wake it'll make. And of course, they can detect that wake at a greater distance. This bait here is a great bait for redfish and stripers. There's one. Oh, get out of there. Another heavy fish. Oh, yeah, coming right at the boat. Oh, you rascal, you. Oh, look at the size of that one. Look at that tugging thing there. That's a slinky old job, isn't it? See you, buddy. Now here's a question I hear all summer long. Is there a formula out there that somebody uses to match worm lengths to hook sizes? Yes, two are factors I use, diameter and length, to match a worm with the proper hook. On thick-headed worms, I use a wide gap hook and then downsize progressively as the diameter decreases. Now for length, increase the hook size as the length of the worm increases. Example, use a 5 to 6/0 hook in a 10 to 12 inch worm and a 1/0 in a 3 to 4 inch worm. Uh-oh, look at here. There's one. Look at all that there. Oh, that's a good one. Good fish. Ooh-wee. Whoa. Isn't that a pretty one? Look at all that color in it, gold and green. Woo. Okay, buddy, time to go home. Boom.
There are only so many of these great questions that we can fit into one episode of Bill Dance Outdoors. We hope that we were able to help some of y'all out with a few of these answers today. Something you have to do if you want to be better. You got to keep asking questions, keep talking, and asking anglers who know. Most of them will be willing to help you. That's what we do here. We pass on good angling information at Bill Dance Outdoors. Yep, that's what we do. As Bill Dance says, keep what you can use and release the rest. Oh, and catch one for us. We'll see y'all next time.
Thanks for watching Bill Dance Outdoors. Join us here again next week.
Now I've gone fishing with Bill Dance today.